What's going on, Nutty Maniacs? And welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I posted anything. I'll be honest, the holidays came around, then work got busy, life got really hectic. But since then, I've picked up some new gear, like this camera I'm shooting on today, this microphone that you might be able to see right here in the corner, some new lighting, so we're ready to go with another review video. Today, we're going to look at something that hits close to home for me. Today is the Canadian Heavyweight Championship by Maple Leaf Pro. Let's go check it out. And here's a look at our Canadian Heavyweight Championship made by MLP, otherwise known as Maple Leaf Pro. This belt has only been out for not even a full year yet. Josh Alexander was the first, and I believe at the time of this video shooting, is the only Canadian heavyweight champion by Maple Leaf Pro. I love the cuts on the leather here for the side plates. That's really cool. But we're going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to do a little quick overview of the belt. Got the female snap box over here. I had to move something out of the frame there. I had my little coffee cup. It's not too professional that way. Let me get in the shot. All right, let's take a look at this main plate. So this is the main plate on the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. I don't know how well it comes through on camera, but all this nickel area in the back is all hand nugget texture. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. It looks more kind of pitted from the plating, but it is hand textured. It's meant to be like that. That is not an accident. We got the pillar right here. These pillars were made famous on the Unified Heavyweight Championship that Jerry the King Lawler held. It was also made famous on the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And to be quite honest, those are the only two that are coming to my memory right now that have the pillars. I know there's a lot more. I should probably just take a look at the shelf. Yeah, that's all I have in my collection that has the pillars, but... Now, it looks like over here, you could re-stone it, or stone it, because there is no stones on this belt. So it looks like there's spots where if you wanted to, you could add some stones going all the way around the border of the plates. Looks like it has it on the side plates as well. But the actual belt, as of currently, does not have the jewels going around it. Jewels would make it pop really nicely though. But we're trying to look for as close to accurate as possible with these. So that's where we're going to keep it as is. You got that beautiful Canadian banner at the top. And below it, you got the champion banner. Then we got the MLP logo, Maple Leaf Pro. And then right here at the bottom, it says rooted in excellence. Which is actually really cool. I never noticed that on the belt until just now, so that's pretty cool. Then we got some calligraphy going on around here. Could be a floral pattern, similar to like the big gold. Not the same floral pattern, but when I say similar, I mean it kind of gives you that impression. Because the big gold is the most floral calligraphy, whatever you want to call it, scroll work on a main plate. I actually really dig the shape of this main plate too. It kind of looks like a shield, or maybe like a trophy plaque, or like one of those championship plates you get at a horse race. Makes it really, really cool. I also love the sun rays inside the maple leaf. You can see the sun rays going around here underneath the Maple Leaf Pro. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. And then, of course, you got the MLP logo. which for the longest time, and I guess it wouldn't make sense because then it would just be a Toronto championship, but for the longest time I thought this was the CN Tower in the middle. But it appears not to be, just a split in the maple leaf. Maybe like part of the stem line. And then behind the maple leaf you got a globe in the background with black water, so it's painted black for the water. I would assume it's supposed to be the map of Canada that's on the globe behind the maple leaf, but I'm not sure, just because like it looks like there's a couple added areas, not quite looking like Canada there, but that to me doesn't matter too much. It does have Canadian champion on it, so that's pretty cool. Then if we go over to the side plates, we got that filigree floral, whatever you want to call this design going around it. And inside we got the Canadian flag, the red white with the red maple leaf in the center. You got a little bit of black paint going around the outside of the flag. Makes the red and white pop a lot more. I don't know what happened on that last one. I think I pressed something on my screen accidentally. But going back to this, so this has the map of Canada in the center. I guess I also need to remember I don't need to yell because I have a microphone now, so I can talk a little bit more at my normal volume. So I'll probably just do that going forward. I know you notice you can hear my breaths in between takes or in between words, so that's how you know it's a good microphone. But yeah, over here we got the map of Canada in the middle. And over here, what we here in Canada call our states is we call them provinces. And as you can tell, the different lines on the map of Canada show the separation between all the different provinces and territories. So I thought that was a really nice touch. A lot of makers will just leave that flat. Most of the time, they won't even have the right shape. They have it pretty close, but not correct. But this looks pretty darn close. And I love the fact that he split up the map into the provinces. So that's really, really cool. We got my province right here, Ontario. We got Quebec next to it. We got Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. And you got all the territories up top. Done really nicely. And it is the same on the other side. So on this side, we have the same floral filigree pattern with the red and white maple leaf Canadian flag, in the center. And then on this side, we return with the map of Canada and the province lines. And then, if we look at the tooling on the belt, you'll notice it's just your standard camouflage or shell tooling. There we go. Brain's not working today. Might not be working most days. But that's okay. So you can see the shell tooling going around. Shell tooling stops right at the snap box, which is done really nicely. Then you got the bevel line for the snap box, the bevel lines around the snap box, even where a belt tip would go if the belt came with a belt tip. This belt does not. I'm pretty sure the one on TV also does not have a belt tip on it. And of course, most of my championship belts come with a pure Fandom belt bag. It's included in the cost. There's no added fee to it. A lot of people might ask why I put my logo on there. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not selling official replicas. So I think it would just be cheating the customer if I start putting logos on the belt bags as well. I figured since my company's called Pure Fandom, I figured it would at least help you remember where you got it from. So that's why I choose to go with my logo on the belt bags as opposed to a company logo, a promotion logo. Got the shell tooling carrying off over here, ends right before the snap box with the bevel lines. See the bevel lines here, going all the way around. Whoop, Going all the way around. I'll say this, I really like this belt. I feel like one day this belt will join my collection, especially being a Canadian championship. Now, the cool thing about this belt and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling just in general is it's kind of like a resurgence of old Toronto wrestling territories. Wow, I can't believe I almost stumbled on that. An old Toronto wrestling territory known as Maple Leaf Wrestling. Or back then, I guess if you hyphenated, it would have been the original MLW. And so that company started in I want to say it started in the 1920s, but it didn't actually become Maple Leaf Wrestling, I believe, until the 50s / early 60s. It was just kind of Toronto Wrestling, I think it was just referred to as. But, so the lineage takes after that. So this company went all the way up until 1984, which at the time it got bought out by the World Wrestling Federation. I believe Dino Bravo was our final champion, or at least the champion that took the belt over to the WWF. So for a small amount of time, the WWF sanctioned it, the Canadian Heavyweight Championship, as the WWF Canadian Heavyweight Championship. And so shortly after the belt got dissolved, the company got amalgamated by WWE, or WWF at the time. And then we never had a territory in Toronto for a very long time. We had indie promotions. We still have tons of indie promotions. I work for one of them, Demand Lucha. There's tons of Smash, Destiny, Superkick. There's a whole bunch in Toronto, Greektown Wrestling, Northern Crown, like the list goes on. There is a lot of wrestling, especially in modern times in Toronto. But this is supposed to carry off where it ended in 1984 with Maple Leaf Wrestling. Hence the reason why they went with Maple Leaf Pro. I think they went with Maple Leaf Pro just to get a different, what are they called? Initials? There we go. See, told you, brain's not working today. I think it was to get different initials so you don't confuse it with Major League Wrestling. Plus, it kind of gives it a new twist because it's a new era of Canadian wrestling. So that's kind of the lineage on this. So when Josh Alexander won it in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens, it was supposed to carry on the lineage from the original Maple Leaf Wrestling Canadian Heavyweight Championship. So that's why this belt means a lot to me. Being a Canadian, being a Torontonian, this is a really cool piece of wrestling history, or a piece of wrestling nostalgia that could become historical one day. I really hope it does. I have high hopes for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So I really hope we get something cool out of that. Actually, at the time of this recording, I saw today on Instagram that they are running a show in Windsor, Ontario. Sad that it's in Windsor, not Toronto, but for the Windsor fans, that's awesome. It's a co-promotion show between Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro, so that's going to be pretty dope. All right, let's flip this on its backside and see what the backside looks like. This is Mr. Derek. Mr. Derek wants to do the belt review with us today too, right, Derek? That's a yes. Clearly it's a yes. And here's a quick view of the backside of the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. You can see that he has 8 bolts on the back of the main plate, well 9 if you include the center. So 9 bolts on the back. They're all covered very nicely. Let's see if we can get some better light on here. There we go. It's all covered nicely. It's actually very smooth. There's no air bubbles, which is awesome, because sometimes you get that. Feels really nice. Can't tell if this is a vinyl backing or a leather backing. I'm going to assume it's a vinyl backing, but texture, smell, and touch kind of makes it feel a little bit like leather. I guess vinyl's getting really good to the point that it's hard to tell nowadays, but that's the side plates. So you got 4 backing posts on each side plate. And you got your male snap sides covered. over here. And you can kind of see them over the impression on the backing strap. And then if we go over here, you got 4 bolts on the back of this side plate and this one. Then you got your female snap exposed for obvious reasons, because if they weren't exposed, the belt would never close. As you can tell, there's a good concave curve inside, so we're going to get a look at the curve on the plates in just a second. But I just want to do a little quick overview of the back. Nothing too much to report on the back. The edges are sealed, as you can see here. A lot better than belts past. This is the same maker I'm using, so every time I've got a belt from him, if there's any issues or anything that looked a little off or could have been changed, I have mentioned it to him. So it is really awesome to see that he has been taking notes and doing a better job every time I get a belt. It's really nice sealed edges. They're burnished. They feel nice and smooth, nice and rounded, so that's awesome. And that goes around the entire belt. So let's go take a look at the curve. And here's a view of the curve on the main plate. I would say about the distance from the top of the table to the bottom of the plate of the curve is probably about 1.5 inches. So I'm trying to fight with the camera here to get it to catch this. If I lean it on the volume knobs or the volume buttons, it cancels the recording, which has happened twice already. So I want to stay away from happening on this one. So you can see there's a nice curve going all the way around. There we go, make it more clear. It's a nice curve going all the way around on the main plate. And then on the side plates, you even have a little slight curve. It's a little hard to notice, but there is a slight curve on here. There you go, you can kind of see it here. See how it kind of arches a little bit over here? That's how you can tell if it's curved or flat. And then again on this plate, this one's also kind of curved. There you go, you can see it better there. It gives it more of that curved look to it. And it is the same on the side plates over here. Slight curve on this one. Come on camera, there we go. Slight curve on this one. So that's pretty dope. As you can tell by past videos, I'm a huge fan of curved side plates. I just think it makes it look a lot neater, a lot cleaner. Plus, it's like, it looks kind of silly to me personally when you get a belt and you have this beautiful curve on the main plate, but then you have completely flat side plates. I feel like when you wear it around your waist, you can see the edges of the flat plates come off, and it just kind of looks a little silly to me. That's why I always go with the curved ones. I noticed back in the day when I was a collector, well, still am a collector, but when I was collecting early Figures Inc., Figures Toy Company replica belts, I noticed all the side plates all were curved. And then anytime I got one from a maker, they were always completely flat, and it just didn't look right. So that's why I've always tried to, I don't want to say stress, but try to communicate with my maker that I would like all my side plates going forward to be curved. Even if it appears that the side plate itself has no curve, let's do a slight curve because it will really look good on the leather. And then here's a look at the snap box tooling. So you have that kind of nugget texture in here. I don't know if you want to call it like a para texture or what, but it's going around here. We got chrome. Is it chrome? No, they're gold plated. My bad. They are gold plated snaps for the female snaps. I'm using a yellow light, so it's kind of hard to tell what's nickel and what's gold because of the yellow light. Also, I'm bending over when I record these videos because I am very tall. So that's why it always sounds like I'm talking weirdly, because I'm completely bent over and gravity is pulling everything. Saliva, boogers from being cold, or allergies. So I'm always kind of, I don't want to say choking, but I'm always kind of fumbling with my words because I got so much damn salvation. Nope. saliva. Well, I guess I don't know what the. Never mind. I'm just gonna stop while I'm still ahead. You can tell most of these are all one-take videos. That's just the way it is. Anyways, back to the belt. So you got your bevel lines on here, both inside and out. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a presence, the snap box. A lot of people also just kind of bevel the one side. Still looks okay, but this looks way cleaner, way more sharper. And then we're going to do the same on this side. I wonder if you guys just heard the streetcar with the announcement. That would be kind of funny if it shows up in the video. It would go to prove that this mic is super sensitive. So here's the pear or nugget texturing on the inside of the snap box. Again, done very well. You got the inside and outside beveling going around the snap box all the way around, which again makes it look a lot cleaner, a lot more sharper, makes the tooling pop out a lot more. We're going to take a look at one more thing before we cap this video off. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Because who knows if I'm ever going to have two of these side by side again, I figured I'd do a little comparison between the original Maple Leaf Wrestling Championship, Canadian Heavyweight Championship, I should say, and the current MLP Canadian Heavyweight Championship. So this is the design for the original one. Now this is not made by the maker I've been using lately. This is, I found this on eBay. It's actually probably one of the nicest belts I've ever found on eBay. It's all 3D. I believe the eagle is one piece with the main plate because there's no separation or backing posts on the plates. So I would assume this is all completely die cast, meaning there's no etching done on this. It's not CNC. This is all done with a mold. They pour the liquid metal into the mold, and then from there it hardens and captures all these impressions. So this is, you got the maple leaf here. Now this is an imperfect one, so you are going to see some imperfections on this belt, like this maple leaf, for example, that kind of has like this little kind of separation here and it's kind of blobbed, as well as the, I don't know why it's called the Canadian Heavyweight Championship, but it has a US flag, but it doesn't bother me. I just don't know why it's not a Canadian flag. But as you can tell, this is imperfect. It's missing some of the stars up there. The lines are very, very kind of all over the place. This is very common for eBay belts. This was just the nicest one I've ever seen. Like this one's like probably overall like 8 millimeters thick. You have a 6 millimeter thick, possibly even just 8 millimeters thick alone off this. It's a lot deeper curve as well on this one. And then this one sports 6 side plates. There's USA, Canada, Japan on this side. And then over here we got England, Italy, and France on this side. It's the Nikita Malka or Malkovic designs. So that's where this one, I guess, is originally made by, or the design, I should say, is originally made by. And now you got 2 pieces of Canadian history right here. The MLP Canadian Heavyweight Championship, and then the Maple Leaf Wrestling Canadian Heavyweight Championship. And to even go with that, to show you what I'm talking about, there's the book I picked up on Amazon, the Canadian Heavyweight title. These books are actually really cool. They make one for the Dome Globe, the NWA Dome Globe. I think it's just called 10 Pounds of Gold. Then there's one for the iconic Big Gold. There's one for the original NWA design, the NWA National Heavyweight / US Heavyweight Championship, and this one as well. I'm pretty sure because most of them were made by either the same maker or just around the same time frame. But this is a great book to pick up. I've had this in my collection now for about 6 years. Picked it up during the pandemic. Probably one of the best reads. And honestly, what I've been doing is I've been bookmarking stuff in this book. Oh, look at that. You got Greg the Hammer Valentine right there, right when you open the book. You know, Dino Bravo right here. So this book is really cool because it goes over a lot of landmarks, venues, places where the title changed hands, events that had like the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion on it. So this is a good read, and what I've been starting to do, and what I think I might actually go full tilt on, is do a Canadian Heavyweight Championship wrestling pilgrimage and go through all the spots where the venues are or where they were, and kind of just do a little photo op there. But yeah, this is a look between the past and the present of the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. I just thought that would be kind of cool to just show them both in the same video and to show how much of a mark I am. So there you guys go. 2 iconic Canadian Heavyweight Championships, both on one video. We have the MLP Canadian Heavyweight Championship that we've been reviewing, and you got to take a look at the original Maple Leaf Wrestling Canadian Heavyweight Championship. If you guys like anything you see from this video or past videos, be sure to check out our website, purefandomshop.bigcartel.com. You can also find us on Instagram at both Pure Fandom Shop and at Pure Fandom Shop 416, YouTube at Pure Fandom Shop 416, and Facebook at facebook.com/purefandom. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, comment below, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all things Pure Fandom. Thank you guys so much again for watching another belt review video, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.